Good evening, everyone. I was going to do something uh, different, and I decided I have a few blanks here sitting. I've started making trees and snowmen for coming up to Christmas, and I already made a few dozen, and I have a couple of blanks here, and I'll do snowmen. So I thought I would run through just the basics with normal setup and turning for those that are new to turning and would like to give it a go at making snowmen. So I am putting this blank between centres. I already had marked the centre on each end with the centre finder. It's roughly given because these blanks are not uniformed right round, but they're a good, uh, they're close to it. They're nearly 4 by 4. I'll just measure that. They're 100 mil by 100 mil or thereabouts, so they're quite close to 4 inches, I may as well say. So I'm going to bring this down to the round and just get my face shield on here. And as always, just check your speed control is turned down before you start to lathe that, because this is in between centres, and if you start it up too fast, there's a chance that it could come off. Right, these are just pieces of pine we got some time ago, and I had still a good collection of them. So you want to start taking down to the round, introduce the chisel a bit at a time, and I'm taking it easy for this one because there's a big crack in part of it, and I don't want to lose most of the timber. I can turn it away where it's cracked. And then when you get it sort of half decent, you can get a wee ribbon going back and forward. And if you notice, I'm not using my arm, I'm just using my body. So we'll stop that and have a wee look at it and see where we are. Right, that's almost to the round, not quite there. So it's a good opportunity to move your tool rest in, because you don't want to be overhanging any more than ½ inch at a time. So that's the crack I was talking about, and there's another one there. So most of that will turn away and it should stay together, but you never know, so just take it easy. And I'm just picking up the cut there, and I raise my hand a wee bit. There's a big knot here. We'll have another wee look at that. It's almost there, so I'll turn the speed up a wee bit. Right, we'll have a look at that. And there's our cracks, so I'm going to be taking, there's a big bit there, it's going to come off, so we'll turn that away. Now, just let the lathe get up to speed. Just check. Right, that bit come off. You can see it there where it was loose, so it's just came off. There's part of it there. The last thing you want is that hitting you up the face. So we'll give it an RV trim over and start marking this out for our snowman. Okay. Now there's no really real size for these. I'm using what timber I have and using it to its maximum advantage. So, as I said, I don't know if I said before, but we make these snowmen and Christmas trees for the Children's Hospital every year. And between our club and the members in it, we produce around about maybe 400 or 500 trees for them every year, maybe more. So we do turn a few for them. Just moving that around the tailstock so I can show you the one I have. So there's the one I turned a couple of days ago, and it's near enough the size of that, so it's a good enough size. As I said, these this timber were skids that were going to landfill. They're all pine, and the only use for them is Christmas trees and snowmen. It's not great timber, but it does this job, and it's free, so it doesn't cost us any money to supply it. It's just our time and a bit of electricity and stuff, you know. So the way I do it is I mark the hat roughly out to the size I want it. I'm allowing a wee bit of waste here in the top, so I just change cameras again so you can see that. Remember, only touch one side when you're marking your size out. Then it comes down to the head part. You just get your calipers and measure the head roughly, and that's within that. So that's going to be the head, and the rest is the body and a bit of waste for the bottom. So we'll set that wee fellow out of the way over there, out of the way, and it's easy enough to just to mark this with the parting tool, and just to distinguish where your cuts are going to be, what's what, and so on. So this is going to be waste. Then we have the rim of the hat, which was going to be something like there. So we have it marked out, okay, and that gives me a wee bit of room to tweak it a wee bit and change the shape of it if I wish. You don't have to be exact. It's only a guideline, and it's a good one to work on one first and get it to where you like it and the size and shape is right, and then keep it in front of you as a reference, and then you know exactly where you're going. So I'm going to take a bit of this hat away, and this will be the hat. And I'm just using the roughing gouge here because it's quick. We can worry about the finishing cuts later. I just want to get the shape of it. So the head needs to come away a good bit. And a wee point to remember, you want to keep your head in line with under the hat itself, not the rim. So you want to make that head sit in a wee bit so that it's underneath this upper portion of the hat, so that it's more uniform. So that's that part. Next bit will be the body. We'll just take some of this away. Right, that's all we can do with the roughing gouge. All I wanted to do was get it to a rough size, and then we can work on the finishing cuts and more or less the features of it. So we can take this down a wee bit more round the hat. We'll just get our spindle gouge. We're tapering that from the top to where I cut it with the parting tool. Right, that's not bad. And if you ride the bevel of the tool as you're cutting, you'll get a nice clean finish. Not like this bit. There's hardly any sanding needs done to that at all. So what I want to do is I'm going to use a smaller parting tool here to tidy this up around the rim. Okay, and then I'll remove a bit of this. That's allowing for a wee bit of waste there to take off when I put it in the chuck. Remember, this is still between centers. Right. Just want to bring that in a wee bit more. The head's still too big. So we want to start halfway here and bevel it into the bottom, and then from the top bring it up to the top of the rim. But you don't want to take too much off it, or your head will be smaller than the hat. Right, so when you have near more or less got the basic shape of your piece, you can just fine tune it a wee bit. Don't know if you've seen that there on camera. It was an odd bit of wood. It was loose. Where was it? There's it there. See that? Now that could have been nasty. And if you weren't wearing a face shield, it could have ripped up and hit you in the face. So when you're working with timber like this here, it's always to be better to be safe than sorry. Okay. Because things like this just jump out at you when you're unexpecting them. So we need to fix this. So a wee bit more work done to do to fix that. Just keep stopping the lathe and check and see where you are. Still a wee bit there. And we'll take the top up a wee bit more to make it a bit rounder. Still a wee bit yet. And you can just see the remnants of those cracks. So I need to take this here down a wee bit. Of course, I lost a big bit of timber out of it. So I'm just going in the roughing gouge here. Hopefully we'll take all that bit away it's missing. Just slightly a wee bit more. So I want to put a tannin on this and put it in the chuck. Just putting a slight bevel on that for the chuck. Right, that's that back. And the proportions look okay. You see this one's a bit thinner than this one. He didn't have that much to eat this year, you know. So even though the proportions are more or less the same, the hat and the head and the body is a wee bit smaller, it doesn't really matter. I never make two of anything. They're all similar, but they're not the same. Last year I had pictures of some snowmen on Facebook, and I was asked to could I have a skinny one and a fat one. You know, you don't think like that when you're making them. You just turn it until the wood says yes, that's far enough, and that's a good enough finish to leave it at there. And that's the way you're looking at it. You're not going to say I'll make a fat one and a big skinny one. You know, so all these things can catch up on you without you really like unexpecting it. You know, from people who can ask for things. And then I had a couple of the other things. The tree. I want a tree with 3 branches on it. I don't want 4. You know, you take what you're given. This is what it's made. I didn't go out today and just bake 3 trees with 3 branches on it. It's whatever the wood allows you. There's no point in cutting a lot of waste off. Just make it into a tree. I, you know, some of my trees have more than 4 branches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aye. you could cut that off and make that into 3, but you're reducing size. I think it's better that size, and you've got your branch and your base, and that's your choking point. That'll be cut off, and then just sand those. Now those will go to Children's Hospital as they are, just a bit of light sanding, nothing else, no finish on them or nothing. And the children paint them every year. Now I have a few different ones. There's one there. There's only 4. It all depends on what timber you have. You don't purposely go out to make one with 3 and 4. It's just whatever the timber allows you to do. And like I turned quite a lot last year, both for myself and for the hospital uh, to sell, So I'm going to reduce this here a wee bit more, and I might tweak this to compensate the loss of the body, because what you're going to end up with is a big head and then a wee small body, and it doesn't look right. So we're not taking that much more out of this. It's just to get that flat spot out of that. And again, just stop it to see where you are. I can still see a wee bit of it. Yeah. Just using the wing of the gouge just to blend it all in. Without taking a whole lot of timber off it. Still just a wee bit there. As I said, the head will need a wee bit of an adjustment. Not a lot. Whatever you take off that, you must take off the top as well. Just cut that in underneath the neck a wee bit more to make it more like a head. Just blend that in together. This here bottom, I left this wee bit purposely because we took a bit more timber away with this one than I planned. I'm going to just roll it into the bottom to blend it in. So it has a wee stand to sit on as such, and it's not sitting flat. I'm just getting my skew wherever it is. Keep losing things. It's here somewhere. There it is. My skew's not in the best of health. I got a wee catch on a piece a while ago and I bent it a wee bit and I tried to straighten it. It's not too bad, but I'm losing the height on it now, so it's not bad for years old. I'm just undercutting the rim of the hat. And again, just tidy up all the wee intersections. Right, there's a wee bump here. Okay, that's not too bad. Right, we'll get it out of there and we'll get it in the chuck and we'll finish the hat off and give it a wee sand and we'll part it off, and that's another one done. And we'll just check out with a tailstock it's lining up in the same hole. If it doesn't line up in the same hole as you had it in between centers, then if you've got a swiveling headstock, it might have moved, or your tailstock might just, or your tailstock might need a bit of an adjustment to it. So you'll see it more in spindle work when you go to you put two pieces between centers and you need them to line up. We things like this here wouldn't matter as such because they're only wee dopey snowmen and things, you know. So I've got that. We'll sand that. We'll take this off the head, finish that, and then we'll part that off the bottom. So again, move your tool rest in. And I'm just looking at that. It's a wee bit low, so just rectify it. And then it's a wee bit high. we'll just cut this down a wee bit so we can get why I done that was it makes it a lot easier to cut that wee bit off when you remove the tailstock, because this piece is sitting, oh, 8 inches away from the headstock, and you will get a certain amount of vibration. So you will, and I think something could do with a bit of oil around it. Right, as you can see, it just means you've less to remove. Uh, I'll just change that over, and then you can see where I am. Move that out of the way. So we'll take this off, and then we'll finish sanding this. And yeah, I'm happy enough with that. So just be gentle with it. Don't be going mad and trying to take a big cut off, because it'll put it out of the chuck like, so it will. Just reduce it down gradually. And we'll stop the lathe and just check that. Now, I was rubbing the bevel on the chisel so that you get a nice smooth finish, and you can see that on the camera. It doesn't matter when you're roughing it out. Just remember you leave enough timber for any mishaps you have along the way when you're doing things like this, because you can't put it back on, you know. So I'm happy enough with that. I'm just gonna give it a wee bit of sanding. Put the dust extractor on and turn the speed down a wee bit. It doesn't need to be going too fast. We had a wee Zoom meeting on Tuesday night, and one of our members done a thing on sanding. It was very informative. You know, as I say, this doesn't need an awful lot of sanding because the kids are going to paint them. I guess piece of sandpaper's had its day. This is a wee piece of 240. 240 would probably do this. You're not making a masterpiece for a competition or to sell. This is only for the kids to paint. And I must say, the kids get great enjoyment out of them in the hospital, and some of the parents do too, because sometimes they're in a long time, and it breaks the monotony up of being in hospital, and takes the dreariness of being in hospital. So it gives the kids something to do as well. As I said, we do this every year. We make them snowmen and Christmas trees. And we made that much last year. It was distributed without, right through all of the trusts. I think Jenny said that one of the girls that's in charge of the, with the, whatever you call it, for looking after the kids, a bit of fun and stuff. There's a name for it. I can't remember what it is, but they asked her, "Where did you get these? And would they make us some?" No. uh, she says, "No. Well, they would make Yanni, but what we have would be too much. So I'm willing to share." So that's a good thing, you know. And she sends us pictures down so we can send them around the audience in our meeting once a month and let them see that the kids enjoy painting them and stuff. And we have stood and made them, so they're getting them some enjoyment out of doing that, And it's nice to see. Actually, when you see some of them with big braces on their heads and they can't move, and your heart goes out to them. Especially at Christmas, especially if they're in over Christmas in hospital. Not all the children can make it home, and they have to stay in. So we'll stop and have a look at that. Yep, I'm happy enough with that. We'll turn that dust extractor off. Right, I'm just going to put a wee taste of sand sealer on this just to seal that. And no real reason why I'm doing it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my kitchen roll. Oh, there's it there. It says these skids were outside for a while. They've been sitting out in my back garden for about 3 years. At one stage I had over 100 of them, and they were a metre high, 4x4 posts. That's what they came to us as, and then we cut them all up. Like, we got hundreds of them, hundreds of them. They're all going to landfill. And one of our members, he travels around different companies checking their fire extinguishers, and one of the companies he was in, he noticed they're firing all this wood into the big skip for to go to landfill. See, he went and asked uh, if there's any chance of getting it. And it seems them a lot of money on landfill too, filling the skip. So we went down with trailers and a couple of vans and filled them up. And we all got share of them. And we kept the whole lot for the club to distribute out every year. And so there's wood for the trees. And then again, we're sort of running down to the last of it now. So it's a good idea to go and ask local businesses rather than throw them out or let them lie about the yard and just rot away. Could we have them? If you tell them what they're for. They're not making. They're not there to make you money. They're there for a purpose to donate to the hospital for the kids to paint and stuff. Because it would cost some money to go and buy that. I don't know if we can get 4x4 posts on natural pine, like anything like that, poplar or something like that. It would cost some money to get that. Right, back to this. So that's all I want to do to that. I'll just give it a wee burnish just to dry the sand and sealer in. And we'll just part that off now. I need to fix that because it's put a sharp end on it. And a wee bit of sandpaper just to tidy that up. I could have done with leaving a bit more timber on the bottom of that for to take the foot off. That's why you have to sort of plan it out as you go, and you give yourself a bit of room. Right, we'll use the thin parting tool now. You can see the difference in the two there. Oh, you can't. If I change the camera to overhead, you can see. So that's the big parting tool, and that's the wee thin one. Right, just increase the speed a wee bit. If you're not happy doing this here, when you go to cut it off, you can stop it and saw it off. There we have it. One snowman. Change that back to the tailstock, and there we are. So another snowman for the collection, and then depending on what side looks best, that's the side you put the eyes and the nose on, and the buttons down the front of it. I bought wee noses online last year, and I got some, ordered some this year, and I ordered the wrong size ones. This is what they look like when they're finished. So you can order all those off eBay. I mean, carton noses. There's no painting to do at them. Just glue them in with just super glue. So, it looks apart. Okay. So That'll look the same. That one was on a diet, you see. This one had a whole lot of turkey last year. Okay, guys, that's an RV demonstration for the new turners out there that need a wee bit of help and going through the thing, how you set it out and where do you start, because it can be a wee bit daunting at times. You've got this big a bit of timber and you start turning away, and before you know it, there's nothing left of it, so you have to have a plan in your head, and once you get one done, then you can take all the sizes using your calipers to mark it out, and then do all the roughing work first, and then fine tune it afterwards with your finishing cut, and leave a nice smooth finish on it. Then you're not left to do a whole lot of sanding. As I say, those are skids, and if you see some of them, I've a couple more here. If you see in the state of them, you would say to yourself, like, what's that going to be? Would you turn your nose up at those and you know throw it away? Because it's good enough timber, but as I say, it's only good enough for the likes of this. You couldn't make a well, some people would piece out of it and sell it. It's only a piece of uh, pine, but it's nice smelly pine. A lovely smell of it, so it has. So that's that one done.